I don't really know how I feel about Martian through Georgia. This is a Warner Brothers cartoon from 1962, directed by Chuck Jones, Abe Levitow, and Maurice, and we have this Martian creature who comes down to Earth, and people start screaming monster, as you can expect, and this little alien doesn't really realize that he's the one who they're calling a monster, and of course they're only calling him a monster because he looks different and they don't understand him. And there's this good message here about the fact that people will declare you a monster just because you're different, and that shouldn't be the case, which I think is obviously a really important message, and something that I think will unfortunately be something that people will always need to be reminded of. But aside from the good message, it's very slow and not a lot happens. There were bits that I liked. For example, the narration is stating that he's found himself some accommodation and various other things, but what we see on screen is not what you might expect. And I think that worked quite well. But generally, although the narration was well written and well delivered, it's narrated by Ed Prentiss. The narrative just slowed. It was so slow. It needed something else. It needed a spark, something to make it more interesting. The character of the Martian was interesting enough, but not so interesting that the cartoon would be fascinating with a lack of interesting narrative. It needed more of a balance there, I think. So I didn't love Martian Through Georgia. I liked the message, but honestly, it was lacking something, mostly because the pacing was really slow, so something else needed to be injected in there to quicken things up or to make it a bit more interesting. A nice message, but not the best cartoon. I'd recommend watching it at least once because it's relatively interesting, but I just feel like definitely it was lacking in something.